Ready? Thank you all for joining the final demo session of the mental health chatbot. So we have successfully completed 4 weeks and built a chatbot with solutions. Hopeful we have been justified the problem statement and the learning which we have given at the beginning. So as said, we started working on social media data set and then mental health addiction or the disorder we are trying to sort and we are list out it, right? And then we need to understand and collect the data set while doing market research. So we had thorough market research we did for 1 week, more than 1 week, I say. And we collected the data in terms of pre-processing rate. You guys got a lot of obstacles, what data to keep, how that will be affecting to build the knowledge for your chatbot. Yeah, finally building the pipeline is something complicated. Creating the logic, understanding it, right? And then what the features to include, what the features not to include, because we have time constraint. Yeah, we did a lot of things like incorporating RAG, RL, using DPO, and adding also ethical consideration for the prompt while giving it output. So yeah, it's a great challenge for you all, I said. So something which you need to stretch out yourself and start working for more than expected hours. So with that, we can start presentation from the complete set of team. So yeah, Tracy or the Krishna, go ahead and present the screen. Start.
Thank you. It says it's disabled, host disabled participant screen sharing.
Just a minute. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, you can share the screen, right?
Okay. Here we go. All right. Thanks, Yaya. Thanks for the great challenge we encountered as a project team. So our combined solution is called the Mindful Media Mentor. And the agenda today will be myself, Tracy Greenwood, going over the introduction and the challenge and our approach to the challenge and a very high level overview. And then I'll turn it over to Yanni, who will go over to the details, with Alexandra going over the deployment strategy, and then with Kishore doing the product demo. So we'll take about 15 minutes at the presentation at first, and then we'll jump right into the demo. All right. So as Yaya said about, we were challenged with the overall project in a short amount of time to meet a lot of requirements regarding training a model, integrating sentiment analysis, integrating text to speech, speech to text, and so forth, and combine our solutioning so that we can present a comprehensive product across all of the teams. So we got together about a week ago and decided on what we could achieve together to meet this challenge. So we approached this across the teams by first identifying which team had sort of the most advanced chatbot solution at the time, about a week ago. And team 3 had a different kind of solution where they had already included sentiment analysis and a variety of mental health issues being addressed in RL as well. So we started with their chatbot solution, and we built from there. So we integrated some of the mental health data that Team 4 had addressed, including cyberbullying, social media addiction, and isolation. And then we added features from Team 2, which integrated the voice recognition and the selection of either text or speech for the user. And then we also added the ethical and safety features from Team 5 via LlamaGuard. And that is deems the content safe or unsafe based on an underlying policy, and then also categorizes the violations, and we'll get into more details there. And then when we integrated that solution, we decided to refine it wherever we could, so it would be as comprehensive as we could with the amount of time we had left. So just a quick overview before we get into the details so people kind of understand what's going on with the flow. The user starts interacting with the chatbot and they can select if they want to interact with text or speech and if they want the safety features like turned on or turned off. And they also, then they can start to write about what is concerning them, such as, I think I'm being cyberbullied or I feel lonely and so on and so forth.
Hey, Tracy,
That initial,
sorry to interrupt. Can anyone who's not talking please go on mute? Apologies. Thank you. Sorry about that.
thanks, Howard. Thank you. And then as soon as the user interacts with their first statement with the chatbot, there's analysis conducted that will detect the tone ranging from positive to negative and different severities of that tone in between, and also will identify the type of guidance that should be provided based on that tone across encouragement, empathy, or spirituality. Then a question based upon the classification of the issue, whether it's cyberbullying or social media addiction or depression, a question in that category will be given to the user and the conversation will carry on iteratively from that point. This is a little glimpse at what the interface looks like. You can see on the left is where the client or the user identifies how they want to interact. And on the right, you can see the user already put in their first question, I am feeling bullied on Facebook. And then on the left, the negative tone is detected along with the mental condition of cyberbullying, along with some more details that you'll see during the demo. And then on the right is the feedback from the model, as well as another question to further have an interaction with the user. At the very high level, this is the design, but I'm going to break this up so it's a little bit easier to walk through the left side and the right side. So I'm going to move along to the next slide. So on the left side, as we mentioned, the user interacts with the chatbot, selects their text to speech, selects their safety mode. And then on the right side is where all of the real work happens. So you can see the statement gets sent to the mediator. The mediator works with the model as also with a vector database and also with a question generator. So this is where this, and again, Yanni's going to go through the details further, but this is where the question is, the category is analyzed and the question is selected and presented back to the user and it iterates from there. So I'm going to now turn it over to Yanni and she'll start with the details.
Thank you, Tracy. Yes, I'll start from here. Whenever I say, could you please just change slides, please?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, given that you're sharing. Right, hello everyone. So I'll take over from here. So for our data collection, we have collected sources from places like Kaggle and Hugging Face. Reddit will also incorporate some prompt engineering. But basically, our data is based on questions and responses. And for these purposes, questions just provide more structural format for collecting information, and it makes it more organized in that way. And we targeted specific aspects of mental health when we were looking for these specific categories, when we were looking for anxiety, depression, and ADHD. So we targeted data based on these categories. Next slide, please, Tracy. So for data pre-processing, we have questions and user text which are both labeled for their respective mental health categories. Like I said, we have anxiety, ADHD, depression, and we also added traditional cyberbullying to this as well. This basically we're using labeled data to train our models. So I'm going to talk a bit more about this. So next slide, please, Tracy. Thank you. So for model building, like we said, we already incorporated sentiment analysis, and for this we have used we're using BERT model. Basically what the BERT model does, it classifies user text into positive, moderately positive, not just positive. We also have neutral. We also have negative and moderately negative as well. So we have more sentiments as well. And in order to classify mental health categories, we use XGBoost algorithm to classify mental health conditions. Our mental health
Sorry,
conditions like the
Shrika,
ADHD,
you are
anxiety.
echoing. So anyone unmute yourself? Anyone? Because you are echoing. Trishika?
Sorry, yeah.
Yes. Yes, Anita, go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, so for this, well, in order to categorize our categories, I was saying that we're using XGBoost algorithm to classify each mental health conditions, and we're also using reinforced learning with Q-learning, for which I'm going to talk about more in depth now. So next slide, please, Trace, as well. Thank you. For our sentiment analysis here, we're just presenting our confusion matrix here, our classification report, and the way how we categorized each single one of our categories here, the depression, social isolation, social media addiction, which are additional categories we added for this combined project. So we using balanced data set to train the XGBoost model, and each category we encoded each single one from 0 to 5. So like you can see, rather than having a text there, we each one corresponds to their category. And like we can see here, our lowest accuracy here is for social isolation, which is encoded as number 4. It has over 82% on the F1 score, and we also have our highest accuracy. That model is really good at detecting depression, actually, which you can see as encoded as number 3 with 92% on our F1 score, and this is what our sentiment analysis pointed here. Next slide, please, Trace. Thank you. Right, so I'm going to talk about our reinforcement learning and how it uses Q-learning. So like I said, I'm just going to recap quickly what Jaylin mentioned in our last meeting. So like I said, first when then the user comes to our model, we start with the sentiment analysis. We detect which it tries to detect whether their mood is positive, neutral, or negative, or moderately neutral, and the sentiment that I mentioned now. And we're going from bottom to top, where the user input is right at the bottom, and we have our response, which is right at the top, the LLM in the pink box, and the lower one where it says user. Apologies if it's not very visible. We're using the same image like last time because it's a very well descriptive, but I'll try my best to describe it here. So the user is going to input something when it comes to our model. Then the text is going to go into this where it says chatbot, the yellow box there, which is the and that's our this is where the chatbot is, and that's where it goes to our clean text, which is our blue box there. Then by using BERT, we're going to try to detect, I'm talking about this is on the left-hand side. We're going to try to detect whether the user mood is positive, negative, neutral, and so on. And we're using the reinforcement learning with Q-learning. So we have basically what this does. It has a table with different probabilities there, which have been distributed. So based on this, we sorry, could you please mute yourself? Because it gets a bit noisy. Thank you. So like we mentioned last time as well, it uses the softmax in order to choose the highest Q value to assign the required action. So basically what the actions are encouragement, empathy, and we also we decided to go with spirituality as well. So to make our model a little bit more user-friendly and a little bit more empathetic as well. And from then to determine the tone of AI as and that will go as an input to the LLM as well. And we have on the right-hand side here, on the right side, it detects the mental health of the user. Then after the mental health condition is detected, then the user, to choose from which question, basically trying to use from which questionnaire to choose the relevant question from. The bot will ask the user just one question and to the user related to their condition without trying to state any sort of diagnosis. For example, if we have anxiety, it will look for our anxiety-related questionnaire, which is in the form of a medical survey. The model it's going to pick one question, and it sort of like feeds it into the LLM model, and it combines it together with the output, in which that will produce a short text, and it will send it back to the user in order to avoid looking like we mentioned, like a Google search, and this is why we were trying to avoid here. So next slide, please, Tracy. So we added an additional feature as well to the reinforcement learning. This is the Llama Guard. And basically what it does, it provides like a safety feature for more sensitive content. That's depending on what the user is going to input. And I know I've used an extreme example here, but that is just to illustrate what we're trying to say here. The example of an input, if the user say, I want to kill someone, the Llama Guard will provide more like a safety interception rather than a friendly guidance on the user, what the user should do in that sort of case. So I've tried to illustrate it here. So we have the input, then we have the Llama Guard, and if that passes, then it's going to produce a response then. Next slide, please, Tracy. Thank you. We've added a slide here just to describe our deployment process, and my colleague Alexandra here will, she and Jenny were in charge for deployment. I'm going to pass over to her so she'll quickly explain how we deployed our model. Yeah. Thank you, Alexandra.
Perfect. Thank you, Yanni. Hello, everyone. So just a quick few words on deployment. So for model deployment, we use Hugging Face. So we utilize their user-friendly platform for streamlined model deployment. And in there, the hardware that we utilize is like the foundational deployment. Majority of the app is supported by basic free hardware, CPU basic, which thanks to that ensures like continuous availability of the chatbot for all users, and it's just accessible whenever you want to try it out or chat with the chatbot without incurring any additional costs. And additionally to that, we have a dedicated instance with like a more powerful one, which is employed specifically for the Llama Guard feature, which requires enhanced performance. And a little more on that feature. So Llama Guard feature is like this requires an on-demand activation. This is like a pivotal feature ensuring user privacy and security. This is activated on demand. But like what I want to emphasize here is that even with this feature, there's an option to disable that feature. So we want like the user to be able to interact with our chatbot, even if the dedicated instance is not currently running. So it does not break any of the basic features of our chatbot. It's just like on-demand enabled and checking if the content that the user is providing is safe. Okay, and with that, I will turn it back to Yanni, I think.
Thank you, Alexander. Yeah, we're gonna go and we in our conclusion slide, we're basically trying to summarize what our mental health support chatbot is. So it's a valuable tool that offers first line of support for people in need, for more vulnerable users. It provides a safe space to talk. So in terms of privacy, that's it will be taken seriously because the sensitive topic that they're being discussed there. It offers resources, it offers help, and provides more personalized feedback for people who are in need because of that spiritual nature that we're trying to incorporate here. And so basically what we put here on the last bullet is the more openly we talk about mental health, the easier it becomes for people to seek help, even if it's with a bot, which is the first step that we're trying to take. So next one, please, Tracy. However, because of the strain on time, there are some future work that needs added on improvement. We're still in the process of testing it. Although it is producing a really promising results, there's still a few things that need to be improved as a future work. We need to add a feature to receive more user-friendly feedback. and also to replace our LLM with more fine-tuned LLM and also our model needs to get better predict the positive and negative sentiment, because at the moment sometimes depression can be classed as more positive sentiment. Not in every case though, but sometimes you can. So we need to our model needs to be better at predicting this. We also need to recognize end of conversations as well. Basically, if the user is coming to an end with their conversation, our model needs to recognize this rather than the carrying on. And to also understand user patterns as well, and language translation and more advanced AI features, which these are something that Jaylin added here today, more like LLM multimodal techniques and predictive modeling, as well as a future work in order for our model to be better at recognizing these patterns as well. I think I covered everything here. So I think this is the end of our side. So yeah, thank you very much. We are going to present a demo as well for our model, which I'm going
Yes,
to pass this over to Krishna.
yes. Before that, if you are comfortable, turn on your video and come on camera. Yes, Krishna, go ahead.
Let's see if I can share my screen. Oh, I'm getting the host disabled participant screen sharing.
Okay, okay. Just a minute. Tracy?
Yes,
Yeah, so you
I've
can.
stopped sharing.
Okay.
Can I try now?
Yes, yes, you can. Right, you can do now. Right now.
I guess I'm still getting, okay, now it's working, I guess. 1 second. I spoke too soon. Sorry about that. Can you see my screen share?
Yes, Krishna,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay, perfect. Let me minimize this. So this deployment thing here is deployed on Hugging Face again, thanks to Jaylin and Alexandra. So as you can see, the features as Annie and Tracy walked through here. So quickly, right? So we have two options here: the question retriever, BM25 and ChromaDB. I would say the BM25 is that's where for the boat model is actually fully integrated in terms of knowledge base, question knowledge base based on the mental health condition, and also whereas the ChromaDB it is not integrated with the knowledge base. Plus ChromaDB has only 3 mental health conditions data there, but BM25 has all 6 mental health conditions because we recently added 3 more. So for today's demonstration purposes, we will use BM25 as a question retriever. And then this chatbot provides the ability, can have a text, voice support, and as well as the text and speech voice support. So we can showcase both of them. Plus, also we have provided the Llama God integration, which you can enable it or you can disable it. So for demonstration purposes, we'll do both. So first and foremost, let's see. I'll do the speech and Llama God probably later in the demo. For maybe first I'll start with the basic the integration demo first. Okay. So for example, I'll take the question, I'm kind of prepared just from prepared so that we can use these questions, or we can type any other questions that we feel we want to. So first, for example, if I ask the question, I've been feeling down for a long time and do not enjoy things I used to do. Do not enjoy the things I used to do. So what happens is when you get the response and then the BM25, the model, right? It detects the, let's talk through what's the behind the scenes, the information here. So basically you can see the behind the scene, you have, it's kind of divided into two sections. The bottom section is kind of a pretty static information, meaning as you interact with the user, the bottom portion would not change. It's a pretty static text. So basically it is showcasing that the above Q table is, so basically it is saying that the above key table will be updated based on the interaction with the user. And just as information, saying the questions are retrieved from BM25. And so it is, this chatbot is supporting these mental health conditions. The categories are limited to depression, anxiety, ADHD, social media addiction, social isolation, and cyberbullying. So these are the 6 mental health conditions we have integrated with. And so this is pretty static information, but as you see these information on the top, so this is basically when this information changes as you interact with the chatbot. So for example, in this context, and when I asked this question, it kind of detected the user sentiment or tone, whether it is whether the user falls into these five states, whether it's negative, moderately negative, neutral, and moderately positive, and positive. So this Q table is initially when this gets loaded, right? Initially, these numbers are random numbers. Randomly, these numbers are randomly populated. But then as you interact with the this chatbot, then these numbers would be updated, right? So that's the for the first user tone. The second one is based on the interaction and the chatbot responses. It kind of detects what is the potential mental health condition based on the user interaction. For example, in this case, we said I've been feeling down for a long time and do not enjoy the things I used to. So I think it is kind of categorizing that under social media addiction. And then it also decides to choose which AI tone, the AI system, we want the AI system to interact with the user, what kind of a tone. So we have 3 tones: encouragement tone, and empathy, and spiritual. So again, for the first question, kind of picks up based on it's kind of random. So the way it decides is, for example, as you can see, in this case, it detected the, okay, it's going to say pre-meeting will end in 10 minutes. Okay, yeah. So we have to rejoin back when it ends. So basically here it says that since it is detected.
Sorry for interruption, Vishnu. You can take 10 minutes to complete the demo.
Okay, sure, yeah. So it says here, detects the moderately negative. So when it moderately negative, it goes into this first line item, first row. And then it says, for example, here, which number is high here. So which number is here, spiritual number is high based on these values. That's why it kind of picked this spiritual tone to operate. So then as you ask a follow-up question based on this, right? So if I ask a follow-up question, for example, let's say, I said, I feel stressed and terrible when I can't access social media. So right now it says moderately negative, and see if it changes, based on the follow-up input. Sometimes it can change, or it can turn into positive depending upon the user interaction. So here we said here, so it says it went down, further down, it decreased because again, based on the mood here, based on the user response, it felt like user stressed and terrible when can't access social media. So that's why it's kind of increased it now in a negative mode and further the user sentiment. And kind of social, again, can alternate between potential mental health condition. And then again, now it is, since it is in negative mode, so now the table is got updated. And as you can see in the negative line item, it is 87.87 is the highest. No, I think, sorry. The negative would be the first line item. First line item, if you can see the numbers is the empathy is the highest. So it kind of picked up to decided to interact with the user AI system to interact in empathetic way. So anyway, that's how this operates. So maybe we can pick one more question, and then we will show the text and then Llama God interaction. Maybe we could do. Yeah, for example, let's do this one, right? Cyberbullying, for example. I said I'm being cyberbullied online. I'm deeply sorry to hear that you experienced cyberbullying, and in this case, it took negative sentiment, and that user sentiment is negative, and then potential mental health condition cyberbullying, and then here it was spiritual. And let's say if we come back and say,
Maybe for the time
And,
being, Kishore, maybe we can move on to the Llama card and the speech text.
what is this? Sorry. Okay. Yeah, we can just quickly do that. So now it's saying, and it's asking, can you recall receiving the threatening and intimidating messages? Yes, I said I'm receiving threatening messages, and see how it does. Okay, so the negative sentiment is still unchanged. So that's a showcase here. So I'll just showcase your Llama Guard one. So Llama Guard is, you can enable, disable here. So let's see, we can integrate and we can enable it. So if we enable it here, for example, so we have kind of defined what are the unsafe categories that is very customizable. For example, I want to harm someone. Second, I think maybe point is, just 1 second, thought it is up and running. Oh, sorry, I think somehow it went into, I know I said keep it active for 6 hours, but somehow it went into initializing mode. We'll see, maybe it'll come, then we'll answer that, we'll showcase that. So I guess we could showcase the other feature in the meantime. Let's say if I want to do a speech, for example, so I'm feeling lonely. So again, it picked up this, and the behind the scene data is populated. So, and even you can have this.
We don't
Okay, I
hear
just
your
stopped.
audio.
What is that?
Yeah, I
We
think
don't-
the audio
guys-
output is given to his headset, I think. Yeah.
Oh, you can hear, you guys can hear the audio. Sorry about that. I think it's going to my Bluetooth. Yeah, but it's able to read out this output. Okay. And any other questions you guys want to ask? And I just want to see if Llama Guard is up and running. Sometimes it takes still taking time. Maybe in the meantime, if we can ask one more question. You guys can still hear me, okay, right?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Christian.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I guess maybe we can try. Let's see what it does. I'll try this question. Let's see. My heart races and I feel dizzy sometimes, even when there is no danger. There's no real danger. Mental health situation. See what it happens. and moderate the direction, breathe sleep, breathe meditation, release any tension. I think that's a good advice. So moderately negative. Oh, let's see, it's back. It's running now, so we can showcase. Go. Okay, well, let's. Okay, so let's ask here, since we enabled the Llama guard, I want to harm someone. So what happens when you enable this one? If it classifies this as the unsafe. So this is what happens when it is unsafe. It throws the standard message saying that I see you're asking something about. It also categorizes which unsafe category does this belong to. So since I harm someone, it said that you're asking something about criminal planning due to ethical and safety reasons. I cannot provide you the help you need. Please reach out to someone. So this is the message that it gives. But if it is a safe message, then you won't get this message. It passes through the model and asks it. Let's ask someone something that, let's say I feel lonely, right? Lonely. For example, if you ask this one, this is not an unsafe question. And basically it does call the Llama guard, but the Llama guard gives the response as safe to answer. It's a safe human input. So, and then goes to the model, and then our